You know, there are some things people just don't talk about. And honestly, I get it. It's awkward. It's embarrassing. And for a long time, I was in that same boat. I told myself things like, oh, that smell must be from the house, or maybe it's the laundry detergent acting up again. But deep down, I knew something wasn't right. It wasn't until one evening, sitting on the couch, when my sweet little granddaughter leaned in for a hug and then pulled away, wrinkling her nose. She didn't say anything cruel, but kids, they're honest in ways we adults have forgotten how to be. And that night, as I sat alone in my chair, I had to face a hard truth I had been ignoring for years. I was carrying around a scent I couldn't smell, but others could. And listen, this is not about shame. It's about reality. Aging changes our bodies in ways no one warns us about. They tell you about the wrinkles, the gray hair, the aching knees, but they leave out the part where your skin, your body chemistry, the way you smell, yes, even that starts to change. And the hardest part? Most of us have no idea it's happening until someone says something. Or worse, stops saying anything at all, and just quietly avoids being too close. Today, I want to open up about this. I want to tell you about the one spot almost everyone forgets. The spot that's responsible for a smell many of us seniors carry around without even knowing it. And no, it's not what you think. It's not under your arms or your feet or anything obvious. It's a spot I ignored for decades. But once I discovered it, everything changed. So if you've ever wondered why your favorite pillow seems to have an odd smell lately, or why your clothes feel less fresh no matter how often you wash them, stay with me. I'm going to tell you exactly what's going on, and, more importantly, how to fix it. Because the truth is, you deserve to feel fresh, confident, and comfortable in your own skin, at any age. 1. The shocking truth about senior smell, and why you might not even know you have it. Let's get real for a second. You know how some people will tiptoe around a subject their whole life because it makes them uncomfortable? Well, today, we are not doing that. We are going to talk about something most folks pretend doesn't exist, but deep down, they know it does. And that's the smell. You know the one I'm talking about. That certain scent people often associate with getting older. You might have heard people joke about it. Or maybe you've overheard younger folks whisper about that old person smell. Yeah, I said it. And the thing is, we've all been there, haven't we? Smelling it on others, never imagining it could be us. But here's the kicker. It's real. And it's not just about whether you shower every day or keep your house clean. Oh, I wish it were that simple. No, this is something deeper, something sneaky. It's like your body starts playing by a whole different set of rules once you hit a certain age. And nobody hands you that rule book, do they? I mean, they tell you about the wrinkles, they tell you about the creaky joints and the gray hair, but no one pulls you aside and says, hey, by the way, your body is going to start producing this invisible little signature scent that lingers even after a hot shower. I'll be honest with you. When I first heard about this, I laughed. I thought, oh, that's for people who don't take care of themselves. That could never be me. But I was wrong. Dead wrong. See, what I didn't know is that as we age, our skin doesn't work the way it used to. It stops renewing itself as fast. Oils that used to keep our skin balanced and self-cleaning, they slow down. Dead skin cells? They pile up and cling to spots we never think about. And the worst part? Our body starts creating this sneaky little chemical called 2-nonenal. Now, I know, that sounds like something out of a science textbook, right? But let me tell you, you've smelled it before. It's musty, a little greasy. Some folks say it reminds them of old newspapers or a damp attic. And guess what? This chemical is something your body didn't even make in your 20s or 30s. It starts kicking in hard once you hit your 40s and 50s, and keeps on going from there. The sneaky part? You can't smell it yourself. It becomes part of you. Your nose gets so used to it, you don't notice. But other people do. They pick up on it instantly, especially if it clings to your clothes, your favorite chair, or your pillowcases. And that's why this conversation matters so much. Because once you know what's really going on, you can do something about it. You can stop the whispers. You can stop that feeling of uncertainty when someone leans in for a hug. You can take back control. And the best part? It's a lot simpler than you might think. But first, we need to uncover the spot. The one spot almost every single person, yes, even the cleanest, most well-groomed of us, completely forgets. And no, it's not where you think. I'll tell you exactly what it is in just a minute, but trust me. When I found out, I was floored. 2. The forgotten spot that changes everything. All right, I promised you I'd tell you the one spot that almost every person forgets. And no, it's not what you're thinking, not under your arms, not your feet, not even those little folds under your breasts or belly. It's a place so simple, so overlooked, you might laugh when I tell you, but once you know it, you'll never forget again. It's behind your ears. Yep. That tiny area right where your jawline meets your neck. The place where your glasses or earrings sit, where your hairline ends, where scarves and collars rub against your skin. It sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? But let me tell you, that little patch of skin is a perfect storm waiting to happen. It's warm, it's hidden, it's often covered by hair, and because it's out of sight, it's completely out of mind for most of us. I can't tell you the number of years I went without really giving that area a second thought. Sure, I'd shampoo my hair, and I figured the water running down would take care of it. Maybe I'd give it a quick swipe with my towel if I remembered. But never, never did I actually clean it. Until one day, out of pure curiosity, I took a damp cloth and wiped back there at the end of the day. And what I found? Well, I wish I could say it was nothing. But the truth? That cloth came away with a smell I'll never forget. It was sour, almost metallic, and I'll be honest, it embarrassed me. And yet no one had ever told me. Not my family, not my friends. And that's the heartbreaking part. People might notice it, they might pick up on that smell when they hug you or sit close, but they'll never tell you. Because it feels awkward or rude, or maybe they just don't know how to bring it up without hurting your feelings. So instead, they pull away quietly. They avoid sitting too close. And you never know why. That's why I'm telling you now. Because I don't want you to feel that silent rejection. I don't want you to wonder why people don't lean in for hugs like they used to. I want you to feel empowered, to take back control over something that is totally fixable. And the good news? It's incredibly easy to fix. You don't need some fancy cleanser or some over-the-top gadget. In fact, the simpler, the better. The trick is making it a part of your daily routine. Every day, when you're in the shower, after you lather up your hair and your body, take just a few extra seconds to gently scrub behind your ears. Use your regular body wash or a mild face cleanser. Don't scrub like you're sanding wood. Just a gentle massage with your fingertips is enough. And make sure you rinse well. Not just a quick splash, but really let that warm water rinse everything away. And here's the part a lot of folks miss. After you rinse, take a soft towel and pat the area dry. Moisture lingering back there can quickly turn into a breeding ground for bacteria, and we don't want that. It sounds like such a small thing, but trust me, it makes a world of difference. Not just in how you smell, but in how you feel. There's a certain kind of quiet dignity that comes with knowing you've taken care of the little things no one talks about. And once you make it a habit, it takes no time at all. And now that you know about the behind-the-ear trick, let me share a few other sneaky spots that might surprise you. Because when it comes to staying fresh and confident as we age, knowledge truly is power. 3. the other forgotten spots that could betray you. Now that we've uncovered the secret hiding place behind your ears, let's not stop there. Because, ladies, if there's one thing I've learned over the years, it's that our bodies have all sorts of sneaky little corners that can work against us if we don't give them the love they deserve. And let me tell you, I learned most of these the hard way. First up, the area under the breasts. I know. It's not exactly cocktail party conversation, but that space beneath the bust is a hot spot for trapped sweat, oils, and dead skin, especially if you have a larger chest, or if you wear bras with underwires, or even soft, cozy sweaters in the winter. It's warm, it's dark, and if you're not giving it attention, it can start to smell a little, well, off. The fix? After your shower, make sure to pat dry thoroughly under the breasts. Some women I know like to use a little bit of cornstarch or a gentle body powder, but be careful. Not too much, because you don't want irritation. The key is keeping the area dry and letting it breathe whenever you can. Next up, the belly folds. Oh yes, we're going there. For those of us with a fuller midsection, those folds are just as much a risk zone as behind the ears. I'll be honest, I ignored this spot for years until one particularly hot summer day when I realized my shirts were clinging in all the wrong ways and worse. They weren't smelling too fresh by noon. The thing is, it's the same deal as behind the ears. Sweat and oils get trapped, and bacteria move right in. My trick? After washing, I make sure to gently dry that area, and on really humid days, I'll tuck a thin cotton cloth in there for a bit to help absorb moisture while I finish getting dressed. It sounds old-fashioned, but it works. And now, the feet. Yes, even if you think you're not a foot person, you need to be one when it comes to hygiene. When was the last time you actually scrubbed between your toes? Not just washed your feet, but really gave some love to the space between those toes? Shoes, especially the kind that don't breathe well, turn our feet into little sweat factories. And if you're not keeping them clean and dry, you'll end up dealing with odors you didn't even know your feet were capable of producing. I make it a habit now to not only scrub between the toes, but to dry them carefully afterward, and, if needed, sprinkle a little foot powder, especially if I know I'll be in closed shoes all day. Finally, this one always surprises people, the backs of the knees and elbows. You don't think about them because they don't seem like problem areas, but those spots collect sweat, oils, and dust from the environment too. They might not smell as strongly as other places, but over time they can make your skin feel clammy or irritated. So when you're in the shower, take a few extra seconds to give those bends and folds the attention they deserve. Your skin will thank you. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, wow, that's a lot to remember. But here's the truth. It's not about adding an hour to your routine. It's about awareness. It's about giving yourself those few extra moments to care for the parts of your body that have been working hard for you all these years. And, more importantly, it's about how these little things add up to something much bigger. Confidence, dignity. That feeling of walking out the door knowing you're fresh, clean, and in control of your body. No matter your age. And in just a minute, I want to talk to you about the emotional side of all this because, trust me, it's more than just hygiene. It's about how we feel about ourselves as women, as we age, and why we should never let something as small as a forgotten spot define how we show up in the world. 4. Why this is about more than hygiene. It's about dignity and confidence. Now, I know everything we've talked about so far has sounded pretty practical. Spots to clean, habits to adjust. But let me tell you something I've learned over the years. This isn't really about hygiene, not at its core. This is about dignity. This is about self-respect. This is about how we see ourselves and how we let the world see us. You see, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking, oh, I'm older now, maybe I'm supposed to smell a little different. Or worse, to start believing that nobody notices us anymore, so why bother? I've heard it from women I love and admire. I've even caught myself thinking it on my lower days. But let me be clear, those are lies aging tries to whisper in your ear. Lies we must not believe, because here's the truth. How we feel in our own skin matters at every age. How we present ourselves matters. Not for other people's approval, but for our own pride. And when you walk out the door feeling clean, fresh, and put together, there's a little shift that happens inside of you. You stand a little taller. You walk into that coffee shop or church or community event with your head held high, not worrying about what someone might be thinking. You hug your grandchildren tight, without second-guessing whether they'll wrinkle their nose at the way your blouse smells. And you know what else? It sends a message to the world, to your family, to yourself, that you are still here, you are still vibrant, you are still worthy of taking up space and being seen and being hugged. And no little forgotten spot is going to steal that from you. I've seen the change firsthand. I've felt it. After I started paying attention to those spots no one ever told me about, behind the ears, under the bust, between the toes, I didn't just feel cleaner. I felt more alive. More like the woman I always was underneath all the years, and the responsibilities and the assumptions people made about me because of my age. It's about claiming your space, reclaiming your dignity, and showing the world that aging isn't about fading away quietly. It's about leaning in fully, unapologetically, with pride. Because we deserve that, we've earned that, and I want to invite you right now to make that promise to yourself. To pay attention to the little things that make you feel good. To take those few extra seconds each day, not because someone else expects it, but because you deserve it. And in just a moment, I'm going to share with you one of the most powerful things we can do, not just for ourselves, but for the generations coming after us. Because this wisdom we've gained, this experience, it's something they don't teach in schools. It's something only we can pass on. 5. Passing on the wisdom. How to help our children and grandchildren stay confident too. Now here's something we don't often talk about. We spend so much time worrying about ourselves, about how aging changes us, about how to keep our confidence and dignity intact. But you know what I realized along the way? This wisdom, these little lessons we've learned, they're not just for us. They're for the people we love too. Our children, our grandchildren, even our friends and neighbors. Because the truth is, personal care, hygiene, self-respect, they're not things that come naturally to everyone. And you'd be surprised how many younger people, even those in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, are walking around making the same mistakes we made, skipping the same spots, falling into the same traps we used to fall into. I've seen it. Heck, I've gently had to nudge my own daughter about those forgotten places, behind the ears, under the arms, even the little folds that creep up when you're busy and life gets in the way. And no, I'm not saying we should go around lecturing everyone or embarrassing our loved ones. That's not what this is about. This is about offering what I like to call legacy wisdom. It's about sharing these tips and tricks with love, with care, in those quiet, teachable moments. Like when you're helping your granddaughter brush her hair, and you casually mention, "You know, honey, don't forget behind your ears. That's where the world's little secrets hide." Or when you're folding laundry with your daughter, and you mention how you've learned to keep your clothes fresher just by giving a little extra attention to those tricky spots. It's not about scolding. It's about storytelling. It's about laughing together over the things nobody ever told us when we were young. And by doing that, we give our loved ones a gift they might not even realize they needed. Because if we don't share it, who will? We have the power to teach the next generation how to walk into a room with confidence, how to feel good in their own skin, how to never let something as small as an unnoticed odor or forgotten spot steal their shine. And let me tell you, there's no better feeling than knowing you've passed on a little bit of wisdom that makes someone else's life just a little brighter, a little easier, a little more dignified. So as you start making these small changes for yourself, I encourage you to think about how you might pass them on. Not as rules, but as stories, as lessons, as the beautiful, honest conversations that connect us from one generation to the next. Because in the end, that's what it's all about, isn't it? Connection, community, legacy. And if you're like me, you know the best kind of legacy isn't about money or things. It's about knowledge, habits, traditions, and the confidence that comes from feeling good in your own skin at any age. So, my friend, here's what I hope you take away from all of this. This isn't just about soap and water. This isn't just about a forgotten spot behind the ears or keeping your feet fresh. It's about honoring yourself. It's about taking pride in who you are, where you've been, and where you're still going. Because no matter how many birthdays we celebrate, we deserve to feel fresh, confident, and vibrant. And yes, we deserve to feel huggable, kissable, lovable, without a single moment of self-doubt creeping in. And I'll say it again. This is not about being perfect. It's about being aware. It's about being kind to yourself, showing your body the care and attention it's earned after all these years of carrying you through life's ups and downs. And when you do that, something magical happens. You stop worrying about how others might see you and start showing up in the world exactly as you are. Proud, radiant, and fully present. I want you to remember that the little things matter. That extra few seconds in the shower, that quick check behind the ears, that loving care under the folds and in the spots no one talks about. They matter. They're acts of self-love, acts of dignity, and they're your right. And if this message spoke to you today, if it opened your eyes the way it did for me when I first discovered these truths, I invite you to join me in making a promise to yourself right now. Say it out loud if you feel bold, or whisper it quietly in your heart if that feels safer. I deserve to feel fresh. I deserve to feel confident. I deserve to feel like me. And if you want to keep this conversation going, if you'd like to learn more little life-changing tips, stories, and truths that no one else is talking about, I'd love for you to join our community here. Leave a comment below and let me know if this was new to you, or if you have your own wisdom to share. Let's lift each other up. Let's break the silence around these things that matter so much more than people think. And finally, if you want a little extra dose of honesty, humor, and practical advice straight to your inbox each week, you can join my Savvy Senior newsletter. It's our private little corner where we talk about all the things no one else dares to. Because remember, my friend, age doesn't define you, and neither does any unpleasant odor. You are so much more than that. You are powerful, beautiful, and worthy of feeling your best every single day. Stay fresh, stay proud, and I'll see you next time.